Well, folks, it is now time for Fantasy Football Jibber Jabber. I got finger guns out of Nick Whitmer. That means he's in a good mood. On the other hand, a little surly after week one. Week one always has been financially windfall for me. We're not going to go through the bets because that's fucking boring, but I'm just going to cut to the goddamn chase and tell you that I went 11-13. I blame those goddamn props we got to really sunk my battleship. But Nick Whitmer is here. Kevin Gootee, of course. Nick Whitmer, hey pal. I should have probably done that at the top, but whatever. We're having fun. We're just shooting the breeze. And that's what's up. How are you, pal?
Good. Better week for me, but not as good as I wanted it to be. Yes, those props were horse shit. But I ended up going 14-11-1, which is 55%. And it's, this is what happened to me last year, and we're in two pools together. One of them we have to pick every game, the other one we have to pick 7, and the one I had to pick 7 I went 5-2, and the one we have to pick every game I went like 10-6. But it doesn't always translate to the betting sheet, unfortunately, when you're fucking throwing all these goddamn props and teasers and shit like that. So the Steelers and their goddamn, I teased the Steelers every which way. That was probably my biggest thing. But I did hit the money line on the Rams and the Raiders and the Browns. And I had a money line parlay where the Bucks and the Jets and the Browns all won. So it ended up being a successful week. But speaking of that, I actually need to put in my round robin underdog parlay. I haven't done that yet. So but at the end of the show, when I give that out, it'll be finalized, I imagine.
I loved how I had the Giants plus 3.5, but I also had under 45.5. As you know, I went to the game and they're getting blown out. I left at halftime because, priorities, and it didn't feel like, sitting in garbage weather. And I had the game on, but I'm not paying attention to it. I'm like, oh my God, I shot. I think it was like 26-0 at half. I go, both these bets are cooked. And they only scored 40 points. The Dow only scored 40 points. So at the very end, I go to the Giants, please don't score. Please don't score. Please don't score. I wonder why they took so long to take Daniel Jones out of the game. Does Brian Daboll have naked photos of Daniel Jones's Instagram hose he's tagging? He just wanted to prove a point. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't get that either, man. It was like, are they punishing him for the whole team sucking? Because he wasn't good, but it's not like if it wasn't for Daniel Jones, they would have won that game. Like the entire team shit to bed.
Offensive line, defense wasn't even that bad. It was the offensive line that was just doing the old Olay impression. Well, Nick, why did you call off the first game of the night? I'm sure it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles Thursday night game that we have.
We'll start with Thursday night. We post this on Friday morning, so the people listening will just be able to hear if we're good at this or not. So Minnesota at Philadelphia. The current line is -6. Philadelphia's favorite, obviously, with a total of 49. I took this at the over at 48.5. It's not available at 49. It's still probably a pretty good play. I definitely liked the Vikes at plus 7.5, and I took that in the pool that we're in, but that line is long gone, and I didn't bet it, so wah. But Philadelphia's injuries on defense, especially in the middle of the field, I don't like, especially the green dot situation where the guy who is calling the plays on defense got hurt, and then the backup player who would call a play on defense got hurt. So now we have a new guy in who has had 3 days to learn how to call the plays. Don't love that. Thursday night football over the last 4 seasons. Prime time underdogs. This includes Monday and Sunday nights. 94-65 against the spread. That's 59%. Kirk Cousins as a dog of 3 or more points, 58%. And I like the Vikes. I do, because last week I was all on Tampa Bay. Love that. But Cousins had 300 yards passing in the first half. That wasn't going my way, and they just kind of fell apart, and Tampa Bay played keep away, and the Vikes kept turning it over. But as we know, turnovers are mostly luck. They had 2 turnovers inside the 30 and 1 just outside the 30. So that's 3 turnovers literally in Tampa's end of the field. They had the 8th rated offense for PFF. Mac Jones threw for 300 yards against this Philadelphia defense. So don't like the 6 anymore. I would definitely play it at 7 or 7.5. So the plays I have is the over 48.5, and then I have 2 props. Jonathan Swift. His name is not Jonathan Swift. That's a writer.
He's a writer. I was going to say,
it's a little joke.
Wasn't he Gulliver's Travels?
Yeah, he's the satirist. Jonathan Swift with his modest proposal of over 32.5 rush yards and Dallas Goedert over 45.5 receiving yards, simply because both of these players were shut out last week. And the coach literally was like, I have to get both of these guys more involved. So you just kind of expect them. And then Minnesota's defense kind of sucks. So that's what I got. Those 3 plays. What do you got? Anything?
Oh my God, don't I ever. Listen, we all love I'm a slave to trends, especially good manners and listening to music with my headphones on the subway, unlike some people. I mentioned last week I love Kirk Cousins at home, and boy, you had that nailed, and boy, was I wrong. Even though Minnesota outstatted the Buccaneers, let's just also call that as it is. Turnovers killing them. I love Kirk Cousins on Sundays. You know what I hate? Kirk Cousins in prime time. But so that's why he's a hot trash quarterback play of the week, Nick. You know why? Because last year he put up 8.8 fantasy points against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. You know what? You think it's a good idea because James Bradbury is out and Reed Blankenship is out and the Eagles linebacker is out. I don't care. Kirk Cousins stinks in prime time. The Eagles boat raced him. Again, had him last year, bet the over. I don't forgot what it was, but when, the Vikings only put up 7 points, you are not going to get an over unless the other team just completely bends you over on a gay boat cruise and just sticks many fingers in many different places. And oh wait, this is not my autobiography. So do not play Kirk Cousins. What did I play? I cheated. In fact, I should have done it again last week. It kind of talked me out of it a little bit. I was right in the end, but I was a big old bush. Philadelphia first half money line. I love it. It hit last week. What reasons do I have not taking it this week? None. The Vikings stink. Those garbage people in Philadelphia will be hopped up on perks and meth and, drinking Faygo, the Juggalo soda, all that stuff, and Wawa. That's the official food of the Eagles. I have Philadelphia first half money line parlayed with the Giants first half money line parlay. We'll get to them in a minute. What do I have for tonight? I got a little cute with some props. I think they are going to have to start throwing early. Kirk Cousins, I've got Jordan Addison, the rookie receiver, over 42.5 receiving yards. I think they're going to get down early, and they're going to have to huck and chuck in this fun. I also have Deontay Smith and a little bit of a mini parlay. I just sprinkled here. Over 60-plus yards parlayed with TJ Hawkinson. Again, is that not a great cop name or a better porn name? You tell me. Over 4.5 catches. So that's parlay. Devontae Smith, over 60-plus yards receiving. TJ Hawkinson over 4.5 catches. And the minute Monday night was around, I'm sitting there going, what's the line going to be on Dallas? Because why? I need a leg to take. We'll get into that in a minute. Never mind. But I did tease Philly as one of my biggest teasers of the week. I teased them down to a pick 'em. So I got Philly tonight. Just win the game, kids. Just win. And I got him teased with Dallas minus half a point. I got on that puppy very early, and I'm glad I did. So for game one, I've got Philly teased down to a pick in a teaser. I've got the Philadelphia Eagles first half money line. Jordan Addison, over 42.5 receiving. DeAndre, I actually have Taylor Swift over 15.5 receiving. Your buddy, Jonathan's sister, Taylor Swift, right? DeAndre Swift over 15.5 receiving. And I said before, Devontae Smith in a parlay, 60-plus receiving yards mixed with TJ Hawkinson, over 4.5 catches.
Yeah, I heard TJ Hawkinson is the lead in Busty Cops 8.
That's 7. Come on now. As a film snob, I need to.
It's the new one, bro. It's the new one.
Listen, I don't count. I don't count VR goggles.
Sorry, I disagree. Oh yeah, you finish.
I don't count VR goggles as canon. So no, that does not count.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Nerd. Yeah. I disagree about Cousins, but I'm not gonna put money down on it. I think he'll have a good day because the corners are hurt for Philly. There's a little bit of a revenge factor because Philly walloped them last year in prime time. And Cousins is actually good on Thursday nights, 3-1 against the spread. I actually like him tonight, but you're the fantasy expert. I am not. So let's go to the 1 o'clock games. First up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Buffalo Bills. Bills are favored by 8.5 points with a total of 46.5. What do you got?
Well, what do I have? I'm going to tell you right now, this has got to be the get right game for Buffalo. In fact, I put in two different teaser in twice, mistakenly, though. I have the Buffalo Bills teased down to 2.5. I have a cold cash play of the day for you, if you wouldn't mind.
Ooh, I do like cold cash.
Cold cash, James Cook. Didn't play against the Jets. We all know they're a tough defense. Buffalo, they're going to start running that ball early because I think they're going to get up early. And where is my second sheet here? There. Nope, that is not it. That is it. James Cook handled 80% of Buffalo's running back carries. Again, he only had 12 out of 15 running carries. Vegas last week, 131 yards to running backs with 10 receptions. Give me James Cook. He's a good cash play of the week, and he's not going to cost you a lot. He's only going to cost you $6,100, which is $100 more than his brother Dalvin. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But yeah, Buffalo Bills minus 2.5 teased with the Niners. That is my bet for this game.
Yeah, I like James Cook too. Just as a player, I watched him last week, and honestly, if the Bills committed to running the ball more, they probably would have done better with him because he was quick. He had some good moves, but they just abandoned the run and let Josh Allen go crazy, and we all saw how that went. Yeah, this was a classic overreaction spot. I mean, you see a team losing in Monday Night Football when they were favored and they're supposed to win, and they throw a bunch of interceptions and blah blah blah. Everybody overreacts. They go, what's Josh Allen up to? He stinks. The Bills, they're mad that they lost their bet, this, that, and the other. I bet the Bills minus 8.5. I think that this is, like you said, get right spot for sure. At home, the home opener, Josh Allen's going to be pissed. The Raiders are better than I think people think, but I also think that there's a lot of weaknesses there. In the first half of the Denver game, Denver looked like they were going to run away with it for a little bit, and then there was some adjustments made or something happened where Denver just didn't score for the rest of the game. So I do think that the Bills are going to be able to move the ball and put up points. I also teased Buffalo, as you did, to 2.5 with the Dallas Cowboys when they were favored by 8.5 down to 2.5. So the Bills and the Cowboys minus 2.5 each. Call that a best bet? Did you? No, you didn't beat season with Dallas.
I did. I had Dallas.
The next game, Kansas City at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville are getting 3.5 points with a total of 51. I'll start with this one. So Sunday night, full disclosure, I'm sitting in my bed after a day of somewhat okay football, and I saw that the KC was minus 2.5, and I just was like, Kansas City. I mean, Patrick Mahomes favored by 3 or less. 19 or 16 and 19, 16 and 1 against the spread, less than 3, which he was at the time of bet, 14 and 4 against the spread. Now it's up to 3.5, and I think the only play was Kansas City minus 2.5, or maybe Kansas City minus 3. Now that we're at 3.5, I tell you what, if it gets to 4, I will be betting the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think this is a close game. I don't know if Chris Jones is in game shape. Some people were speculating that they saw him at a charity event 3 days before he signed, and he did not look like he was ready to play football. Kelsey is also up in the air. Both of them will play, I'm sure. I don't know how effective Jones will be, but I think anytime you get Patrick Mahomes less than a field goal, you just have to take it. But now that it's north of a field goal, I lean Jacksonville, and at 4, I will bet the Jags. How about you?
I demand to know what people observe Chris Jones doing that they are in the position to say he's not in game shape, unless he's, of course, doing the standing in front of it's a charity event, you said, right? If he stood in front of a cannon and had a cannonball shoot him in the belly and he has backed up 2 spaces but didn't fall over and die, then that would be a sign he is not in football shape. It's kind of funny
because he's like a giant 300 and some pound man. So like, what, like, does he ever look like he's in football shape? Like, someone who's that huge, like I thought the same thing, but I guess cardiovascular, he hasn't played in the game. I mean, Nick Bosa looked steamed last week, and he's in great shape. So I don't know. We'll see. But you have anything else on this one?
Yeah, was he breakdancing and decided to pop and lock and just kind of got frozen for a hot second?
Yeah, he passed out doing the cha-cha slide.
The most annoying song of all weddings. I had banned it from mine. I wanted to give you a couple of Buffalo stats. I'm sorry, I just neglected to do that before. Buffalo 8-2 straight up in their last 10, 12-2 straight up in their last 14 at home. You should know that. Let me talk now. Also 7-3 straight up in September. So back over to the Chiefs. I waited too long on this because I was waiting to see more about Kelsey. It sounds like he's a go. Obviously, we saw last week what happened when it looked like the bad news bears was out there on the receiving corps for the Kansas City Chiefs.
So bad. So
terrible.
Bad.
It looked like, never mind, too easy of a joke. And besides, too inside baseball. So I said, I'm going to wait this one out. Now it's 3.5, as you had said. I want the Chiefs to bet the Chiefs so badly, but I sure as hell cannot bet them minus 3.5. So what did I do? I took the money line. They're minus 174 right now. I got them on FanDuel, minus 174. All they got to do is show up. And what kind of numbers do I have to tell you that? Well, Nick, I'm glad you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Where are they hiding? Where are they hiding? Where are they hiding? I can't find them. Son of a bitch. Oh, there you go. Got them. Never mind. Oh, they went away again. There we go. Got them. Where are they hiding? There we go. Kansas City 8-1 straight up in their last 9. They are 6-2 against the spread against Jacksonville. They are 7-0 straight up against Jacksonville. Their road record, we all know they stink against the road. 9-2 straight up on the road in their last 11. They are, though, 4-1 against the number in Jacksonville. But to note, Jacksonville 7-1 of late in their last 8 and 5-0 straight up in their last 5 at home. This, like we said it before, I'll say it again. I'm all about get right games, and I decided to get right and take the money line with the Chiefs because I just don't see them losing after a 10-day layoff, after just getting punched in the twazul, as they say in Polish. Give me the Chiefs money line, and it's call me taking the easy way out, but you know what? I'll see you at the window.
There's nothing easy about winning in sports betting, so that's a good bet. It's a smart bet. If you can't get the number you want, then take the money line. We're going to talk about that actually a little bit later with your New York Football Giants. But until we get there, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are laying 5 points with a total of 47.5. You want to start with this one?
I got a cold cash quarterback play of the game.
Ooh.
It is none other than I don't know why I keep calling it, but Ryan Gosling stunt double with downsies, Jared Goff. For $6,200, you can have him. What are you going to get with Jared Goff this week? Well, I'm more than happy to tell you. Jared Goff, by the way, had his best game of the year last year. He threw for 378 and 4 TDs against the Seahawks.
Yeah, it was like 42-35 or some shit like that. It was a shootout.
Right. Last week, the Seahawks allowed 334 to Matt Stafford. By the way, Jared Goff has not thrown a pick in his last 10 starts, which equivocate 359 pass attempts. That's nuts. Jared Goff, $6,200. I do have a play on this game. I took Seattle plus 5.5. Look, the number is good. The circumstances are shaky, I know, and the trends aren't all that great. Seattle 1-9 against the spread their last 10, 2-5 straight up. If you want to throw these numbers out because Russ was there, okay. But Seattle 4-1 against their last 5 against Detroit, 5-0 straight up against Detroit. But Seattle of late 1-4 against against the spread in their last 5 on the road, 0-7 against teams from the NFC. They're also 1-5 in their last 6 games played in September, 5-11 straight up in their last 16 played week 2. I think that this is a get right game. I think 5.5 is a little too much. Detroit got lucky. They face it. They won. They just sucked less than the Chiefs did. I mean, they scored 2 offensive touchdowns and had how many gift points and short fields to deal with the Chiefs dropping balls, tipping passes, all that. I know that the Lions are at home. I gotta think that Pete Carroll gets those guys ready. If they lose, it's going to be by a field goal or less. That's why I have plus 5.5. I get why you don't have a high confidence frame with that, but again, this is just gut for me. 5.5 is a nice number, and I don't know what the current number was. You said, is it still 5.5 or does it move down?
It's 5, but I still like it at 5. I honestly like it all the way down to 4.5. But I also took this Seattle plus 5.5. It is currently 5. I would take it. Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, classic overreaction. We saw the Detroit Lions in primetime beating the defending champions. And then we saw Seattle lose to a team that everybody thought sucked. The truth of the matter is that Seattle's better than people think, and the Rams are better than people think, and Detroit isn't as good as people think. Since 2010, teams that lost by double digits in their opener have gone 51, 33, and 3 against the spread. That's 61%. Teams coming off double-digit loss that are on the road versus a team who didn't lose by double digits, 24-1 against the spread since 2016. Monster spot for Seattle. I love them. There's some concern about the offensive line. That's probably the only thing that's keeping me from only betting one unit on this game. But yeah, love it. Let's go.
I do have a sleeper play for this as well. I wanted to sleeper running back. What I watched last week was something I did not expect. I'm surprised Jahmyr Gibbs did not go and get more carries than Montgomery. David Montgomery played 55 snaps, 21 for 74 and a touchdown. Seattle has allowed 3 rushing touchdowns to the Rams last week. Last year, Jamal Williams had 19 for 108 and 2 TDs when they played each other last year. And again, you're getting him for a bargain, $5,800. So save those bucks for a deeper, bigger, wide receiver or even quarterback. Well, I didn't do quarterback. I just gave you Jared Goff. And it doesn't also hurt that I have David Montgomery over 6.5 rushing touchdowns. He already has 1. Why not? Let's get another one. And let's sew this bet up by about week 9 or 10.
Yeah, I mean, my Gibbs over rushing yards prop last week of 39.5 was a miracle cash. I mean, I was texting you that it was dead because I can't believe, like, in the first quarter, he had like 2 carries. One of them went, or 3 carries. One of them went like 3 or 4 yards. One of them went like 18. And then one of them went like -1. But so I'm like, that was the only explosive run they had. And then in the fourth quarter, I think it's like 2nd and 20 or something like that. They give it to him and he runs 22 yards. And I somehow win by a cunt hair. Like, I couldn't believe that over because he just wasn't getting the ball. So if they're going to keep shutting out the better running back, yeah, you might as well jump on Montgomery. I
couldn't believe it. The passing yards, and I had him more than 50% at halftime on that, and he didn't catch a single pass the rest of the game.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was terrible.
Moving on, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Currently, the Bengals are favored by 3.5 with a total of 46. Since 2010, teams that won their opener by double digits have gone 35, 51, and 1. 41 against the spread. Fade Baltimore. I don't like Baltimore this year. I feel like last week's handicap on Houston plus 10 was actually dead on the money how I thought the game was going to go. I just didn't get the bounces with Houston. Like, they kicked field goals. They couldn't just put up one more score, and I'm there. But if you're a Baltimore fan, there's no way you're happy with how that team looked last week. Now we play Cincinnati off of a terrible, embarrassing loss. Full disclosure, I bet Cincy -3 Sunday night. Now it's 3.5. I really like it at 3. At 3.5, I would probably lay off to maybe just a 1 unit bet, but I really like Cincy this week as a bounce back spot. Baltimore's corners are decimated. Obviously, Cincinnati has great wide receivers, and the weather is supposed to be nice. That rain killed Burrow. I mean, you're coming back from not playing football in a long time, and the first game is a torrential jet downpour in Cleveland. I mean, that's hard on anybody. So I think Cincy will bounce back. I like their run game, and I think their defense is healthy and really good. And Baltimore's is just not. I mean, last week, Cincinnati's defense played good against the Browns. If you look at Watson's numbers, they weren't good. The Cincinnati's defense just had no help on the other side. I mean, when a team scores 3 points, what are you supposed to do as a defense? So I love the Bengals this week. Hopefully at 3, but it looks like it's 3.5 at the moment. So go lightly on it, but I would still take it.
Well, Joe Burrow looked like you dancing at your wedding. Pretty awkward in the pocket. And
hey there, that leads, son of a bitch.
That leads me to think that the man is not healthy, because I heard another stat today saying he was throwing the ball out in 2 seconds versus his usual 2.5, which apparently is a lifetime if you're a quarterback. So,
well, good thing the Baltimore doesn't have a pass rush.
Yeah, exactly. Luck on that. And like you said, Baltimore really danced around. I mean, I was sitting there sweating out that bet I had. I had the money line first half. I had him teased. It was amazing.
Was Houston up at halftime?
No, they weren't. They hit
Okay.
it, but it wasn't a convincing one. I mean, I think
It was
they're
like
up
7-6 or some shit like
yeah,
that. Right?
and
Yeah.
I was not happy because the Skins had with 10 seconds left in the half, dumb dick Howell gets hit, scoop and score touchdown, and I get screwed out of my other half of that parlay, which again I would have hit.
Is there a guy, by the way, whose face could be the poster child for date rape than Sam Howell? Look at this. He looks like the biggest frat douchebag of all time. And I respect you. I know you were in fraternity. I'm not throwing that out there as a normal derogatory. I'm just saying if you look at his face, it's like a guy with like a 1.8 GPA. Like he just looks like a dumb bro.
He's got the Gamecocks hat on his head backwards.
Yeah,
definitely the kind of guy that you when he walks by you instinctively put your hand over your drink, going, "Oh shit!"
Oh yeah, he's the guy
someone's getting the dose.
Yeah, two polo shirts on one over top of the other one for some dumb reason.
Collar
popped. Yeah, looking like a douchebag. When he was cut out of the draft, there was this story on him, by the way, that the only food he eats is chicken nuggets. And that's all I needed to hear to be like, yeah, this guy stinks. There's no way he's going to succeed. You can't eat anything else besides chicken nuggets.
Excuse me, master chef at my team's facilities. I asked for dino nuggets. These are regular old basic bitch nuggets.
Yeah, and can I get some smiley face fries to go with this? Fucking loser. Anyway,
I have the so I'm going to talk to you about the under. The under has gone 12 out of 16 in Baltimore's last. Sorry, it's gone under 12 out of the last 16 for Baltimore. Under 6 out of the last 8. What did you see last week that gave you any kind of reason for excitement on that offense? You know what answer is? None. I had J.K. Dobbins go out, yes, for the year in my fantasy league. That sucked. Zay Jones was the only guy looking good back there catching passes. He was the only one doing anything. Odell Beckham was a non-factor. I know they get Mark Andrews back this week. That's a big help.
Is he back? Because I heard he's 50-50.
I heard he was practicing, so I'll assume that's the case.
All right.
Cincinnati has gone 7 out of 10 in their last under a 7 out of their last 10. However, when two teams have played each other, they have gone over 4 out of 5. I'm going under at 46.5. I know it's not it's right below a key number, which makes me get shivers up my butthole. But you know what? Let's gamble to this week here. I think we're due after a bad one, but I think I got enough here. They're going to want to run the ball more. I think. With Cincinnati, maybe Burrow, like I said, not that healthy, where he needs to get some confidence, get some yards, and that's the way they're going to do it.
Yeah, I have the same bet, minus under 46.5. Same thing. I don't think Baltimore's going to put up a lot of points against Cincinnati's defense, and I don't think Cincinnati's offense is going to be where everybody expects it to be. But I still like the matchup. I kind of make this game like a 20-14 type game. So I like the under. Yeah. So now on to the Los Angeles, might as well call them the Los Angeles Clippers, at the Tennessee Titans +3 with a total of 45. I go back to the well. Mike Vrabel, 24-15-1 as a dog, 24-9-1 as a dog of 3 or more. 0-1 versus 0-1 teams. The dogs are 47-25-3, 63% against the spread. I will take Tennessee as a home dog of getting 3 against the team that just throws up on themselves any chance that they get. So love the Titans +3. If for some reason I went to 3.5, which it won't, because every sharp will take out their 401k and pound it at 3.5, definitely get that. But I love the 3. Definitely 2-unit bet. So that's what I got. Anything on this game for you?
Yes, sir. You forgot a lot of key points here, my friend. I hate to admonish you in front of our audience of 18, but here we go.
I got the most key point, which is Vrabel circle of trust. That's all I need to hear.
Well, let's talk about injuries on the old San Diego front, whatever. Mike Williams, questionable. Austin Eckler, I've got him in a league, so I know damn good well what he's up to. He hasn't practiced all week. So that means you're going to get Joshua Kelly. Chris Rumph, linebacker, questionable. Diane Henley, I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but questionable against hamstrings. But this is what little scares me just a wee bit. Tennessee 0-8 out of the last 8 straight up, 0-5 playing an AFC team. They are 8-4 straight up when playing home against the Chargers, though. Tennessee, though, 4-2 against the spread, their last 6 in September. If it does get to 3.5, I got to jump on it. I'm not confident. I don't like going against pizza face Justin Herbert. By the way, if he wasn't playing football, he looked like he'd be in that dead end job managing a produce in a grocery store.
He looked broken at the last drive last week when he got sacked twice. Like his face, literally, he looked up to the sideline with just the most. And I'm like, dude, it's week 1 and you're already broken. By the way, going back to the injuries, I didn't mention him because I don't even care. Let him play. That's how confident I am. By the way, Devontae Smith just had a huge catch down the sideline. You have his over receiving yards?
I have my fantasy team, but yeah, I do over 60 plus yards. Oh, wow, I'm behind then.
He just had a 38-yard catch, I think, and he had another 5-yard one before that. So you're looking good there. Love Tennessee +3. Now on to the next game. We have the Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Bucks are laying 2.5 points with a total of 40.5. This is just one of those games. You know, the Sharps, apparently they love Chicago. For me personally, there's two teams that apparently the Sharps love, and I think the media love. It's the Chicago Bears and the Atlanta Falcons. I can't get on a team unless I think their quarterback is good or their quarterback can be an average quarterback with a team that has like a stacked roster. Both of these teams don't have stacked rosters, and their quarterbacks I don't think they're good. Like, it's just simple as that. So for me, you have a turnover-prone quarterback on the road against an opportunistic defense in the Florida Heat. I love how everybody loves the Chicago Bears +2.5, +3, +3.5. I'm just staying away. This is a pass for me because Tampa Bay is playing with house money. I don't trust Baker as a favorite. I can't back Chicago because, I mean, you could be in this game and then Fields could just drop the ball and it could be a fucking fumble 6. I don't trust this guy. I don't trust any of these teams at this point in the season. Hard pass. I got out with like a ski mask heist with that Tampa Bay money line last week. I'm done. I'm good. It's out of my system. You got anything?
I do. I did take the Bears +3. The Bears, they're 1-8 straight up. Sorry, against the spread in their last 9. Tampa 2-7, also against the number. Tampa at home, and this is even with Brady. Yeah, it is, of course. 2-8-1, their last 11 at home. What does that tell you? They're not covering. Yeah. They're 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 played week 2, but that's obviously before. That's way before Brady, and of course, I think this is. Baker Mayfield got lucky as shit. If it wasn't for these bad turnovers, I would have had my Minnesota tees hit. Everything else would have hit. But look, whatever. I +3, that's the reason I grabbed it. I think they can battle back. I mean, they're going to have to air it out, though. That's for sure. And Justin Fields, I don't know how many passing yards yet. I know DJ Moore had nothing because I'm following him for a prop bet. But I think they know they can beat him deep. And if you start designing plays like that and kind of, quarantining his desire just to run unbridled, I think they have a chance to win. But more importantly, I have the 3. I'm not high confidence on it. I didn't go nuts on that bet, but I'll take the 3.
Now we're at Green Bay at Atlanta, the first aforementioned Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons were getting points. Now they're favored by 1.5 with a total of 40.5. I got to say, Green Bay getting 1.5 is now an instant teaser candidate for me. I didn't realize that happened until literally when I was checking the lines again right before this podcast started. So at this point, Green Bay as a teaser leg is very open to me, getting them up to 7.5. You could tease the Bills down, the Cowboys down, the 49ers down, the Steelers up. I'm probably going to do that once we go off air. Love the Packers in that situation, but this game to me, you got an overvalued team with the Packers just coming off a thumping of the Bears. You have Atlanta who beat a terrible Carolina team. Atlanta's at home. I don't get the Atlanta love, as they said. To me, it's a riskier spot for. I thought before we recorded this, I thought Green Bay was +1.5, but for me, it's a pass. You got anything?
I do. I'm a little. The teaser idea is great. The only thing that scares me is they have 2 of their key guys are questionable and have not practiced all week. Christian Watson, who was out last week, still hasn't practiced, and I'm blanking on him.
Aaron Jones, yeah.
Aaron Jones, who went ballistic when he played them, left in the third quarter. I have my fantasy team again. That's why I'm so in tune. Also questionable, did not practice all week. Again, we typing this on Thursday night, so I don't like that. That scares me a little bit.
I think AJ Dillon is a very good running back. I don't think Atlanta's defense is really anything to write home about. Watson hurts, but they beat the Bears without him last week. Yeah, I get it. But for me, Green Bay is only a teaser. Getting over a touchdown is the only move I would have with them.
I also have the under 40.5. Falcons have gone under 6 out of 7. Also 4 out of 5 against the NFC. They have gone under. If Green Bay is going to be without these key guys, I mean, was Jordan Love lighting it up? They got lucky with some a couple defensive scores with the Packers. So I didn't watch a game. I didn't watch a game. I just know that, I read that and go, oh, okay, that's a little misleading of a score. So I went under for a little bit. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I like that. Next game of Indianapolis at Houston. This is another one that swapped. It was Houston was getting a 1.5. Now they're favored by a 1.5 with a total of 39. This kind of demolishes the whole thing I had. I had what we were talking about, teams that lost by double digits at their opener, 61% against the spread. And then in an 0-1 versus 0-1 matchup, the dog is 47, 25, and 3. But now that applies to the Colts. I teased the Houston up to 7.5, and I paired him with the Steelers getting 8. At this point, I mean, Indy teasing them up to 8.5. I mean, this is going to be a close game. These are two similar teams, 2 rookie quarterbacks, 2 decent defenses, 2 terrible offenses. So for me, I don't have really anything else to say about this game besides that. This is another game that I just hope I watch no plays of the entire time, even though I have some action on it.
I have nothing this game. I understand your logic. I'm just very afraid to put money on Bryce Young right now. Mark, CJ Stroud. I watched him last week and I said, oh, good. My passing yards and total touchdown prop looking really good so far. Was not impressed. That is for sure.
Yeah, so dude. Even more so with the Bryce Young unders, man. I was like, we're gonna eat on those 2 bets or 4 bets for me anyway.
The only one I didn't like was I had Mac Jones under and he threw for 300. But what are you gonna do? I'll give you a stat, and this is gonna play into another game we're gonna talk about maybe in a minute or two. But rookie quarterbacks weeks 1 through 3 for the last I don't know how many years. They're 4-16 against the spread in that time frame. 18-1 straight up.
Yeah, ouch.
So that's why
the good thing about this one is you got 2 rookies against each other, so someone's got to win, right? Or tie.
Well, if that's the case, you win your bet, whoever you tease.
Yeah, exactly. On the 4 o'clock games, we have the San Francisco 49ers who just got done taking their dick out of my Steelers butthole at the LA Rams. The Rams are now getting 7.5 points as a home dog, total of 45. I generally speaking love home divisional dogs, but Kyle Shanahan is 10-3 against the spread against Sean McVay, including 7-0 since 2020 against the spread. To me, I teased San Francisco down to 2 and Dallas down to 2.5. At 7.5, I got no love for the dog. But if you wanted to bet the Rams at 8 or 8.5 or even 7.5, I would get it. I would totally understand, but I just can't go there because of the success Shanahan has had against McVay. But I do think the Rams are better. As I said last week, I had their money line. Mm-hmm. I think that they're better than people think. And Kirk Cousins is not punting. So good job, buddy. Good. That's all I got on this one. You got anything?
Yes, I do. You know what? The Niners are very good at covering, as you said. 7-0 against the spread against the Rams. Their last 7, 8-1 straight up against the Rams, 5-1 straight up on their last 6 on the road, 5-0 in their last 5 playing on the road in LA. The only thing that the Rams are better at doing than beating up on the Niners are better at beating up on the Niners are on the Rams, are clearing businesses out of downtown San Francisco by letting crime run rampant. Those guys are undefeated and will always be bulletproof when it comes to that. So yeah, I teased San Fran twice with the Bills by accident, but I'm sure I'm going to grab them for another leg somewhere and diversify. I just got to figure out where. I think I have I'm not going to do that one. I'll see how I do tonight and see what else I have. But yeah, I'll use them as a leg. Maybe grab them with Pitt again. Oh, spoiler alert! But that's what I have so far. Just San Fran tease with the Bills twice.
All right, now we're at your New York Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona now getting 4 points, total of 40. This line has moved a ton. Public is all over the Giants right now, and I get it. Teams off of a 35-point loss are 75, 41, and 5 against the spread. 65%. But I have to credit Stuckey from the Ash Network, who wisely said that only tells one side of the story, because if that team off of a 35-point loss is laying over a field goal, they're only 8-9 against the spread. Teams off of a shutout are usually 58% against the spread, but teams off of a shutout and are favored the following week are only 23 and 24 against the spread. And then we have the trend of 0-1 dogs versus 0-1 or 0-1 teams against each other. The dog is 47, 25, and 3 against the spread, 63%. Giants are getting 80% of tickets. Gannon was the defensive coordinator for Philly last year, and Philly's defense took a shit down Daniel Jones's mouth 2 times and Davis Webb's a 3rd time. So I kind of like the matchup for Arizona, but full disclosure, this was 6 earlier today. I bet Arizona's a home dog at 6. It got pummeled down to 4. So anything less than 6 for me is a pass, and then you got to look to the Giants money line. Even with the 6, you can get the money line for the Giants. Giants are a great survivor pick, in my opinion. This is a game the Giants win.
I have to as a survivor pick. How funny you say.
The Giants are going to win this game, but I think Arizona's defense is better than people think. And they played with Washington last week, who they have some guys on that team, despite the fact that they're terribly coached. So I like Arizona at 6, but I'm not giving it out because it's 2 points dead at this point. So at this point, my only advice to anybody listening now is to take the Giants money line or as a survivor pick. What do you got?
I have a sleeper tight end. Listen,
it's not Darren Waller, right?
No, it is not. I told you I'm a fan of trends, and I'll be lazy every week. Yes, Travis Kelce is my play this week as a tight end for $7,600. But if you're looking to spend less than half of that amount, you can go and grab Zach Ertz. That's right, the guy who bangs the soccer star, Julie Ertz, whatever. For that, was that Julie Foodie, soccer player? Whatevs. Zach Ertz, $3,500. Why am I bringing it up? Because the Giants suck against the tight end. I've watched this team for 4 decades. They stink against the tight end. He also caught a bunch of passes last week. He had 30 Giants last week, to give up my point. Giants defense held out a 32% target share to Dallas tight ends. Again, Giants never cover the tight end. Ertz had 10 targets last week, most of all tight ends in all of the NFL. And he also got 40% of the team's red zone targets. There is one guy on that offense, maybe 2 guys in that offense who scare me. And anyone, as long as you like in the tight end spot against the Giants, that's who scares me. So Zach Ertz on the cheap. And you son of a bitch, you stole my thunder. Let's talk about Brian Daboll, my guy who looks like he walks in a local bar and the bartender just has 3 Bud Lights lined up waiting for him. Daboll is 7-0 against the spread after a loss with a cover margin of 8 points or more. By the way, teams who lose by more than 10 points in week 1, week 2, 63% against the spread covering. And after being shut out the next week, 62% against the spread the following week. The number is too wonky. No one in their right mind is going to want to lay 4.5. That's an ugly number. I thought about saying now. It's 4. Okay. Still don't like it. So I hit the money line of the Giants. I'm sorry. I'm going to hit the money line of the Giants. I'm going to wait till this keeps going down. I think it's going to get pounded to maybe around 3.5, 3. If it's gotten steamed, was it a point and a half today alone?
I just don't, because to me, I took it as soon as they went to 6, the Sharps pounded it. But at 4, I don't know why anybody would pound the Cardinals to bring that down to 3.5 or 3. But unless the Sharps know something I don't, the public is certainly not going to. I mean, the public isn't. 80% of the tickets are on the Giants. But that's all we got for this one. The next one we have. I do. Again. Yeah, they're the second half of my money line parlay. Giant first half, Philly first half. So I think they're going to come out. I think Daboll is going to fire them up. And as the numbers proven before for me, I think they're just going to kick him in the dick repeatedly. And I know on the road, a little dangerous, but I do not see Brian Daboll going and losing in what's probably going to be the worst team in the NFL. If the Giants lose this game 0-2, and then next Thursday they're in San Francisco, the season's lost already. So I just don't see this happening. Yeah, yeah. I 0-2 would be a terrible start for this Giants team. Now to the other terrible New York team. Sorry, the New York Jets at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 9.5 points with a total of 38.5. Oh, they're gonna make me do it, aren't they? They're gonna make me bet on Zach fucking Wilson. 9.5
Don't
points.
do it.
Way too many points. I'm sorry. Did anybody watch this Jets defense? And did anybody watch the Cowboys offense? You look at a score 40-0. You're like, oh, did Dak throw 4 scores?
Nope.
No, Dak didn't look good in any capacity whatsoever. And you know what's interesting? The
He
Giants
didn't have to be, though. He didn't have to be because they got 14 points off, 13 points off the jump in about 8 minutes.
Oh my God. By the way, they just punted the Vikings finally got to stop. They punted the ball. The fucking defender took it all the way inside the red zone and then fumbled, and then the Eagles just recovered it right back to where they had the ball. Still 3-0. Anyway,
I'm on 3rd and 9 right now. That's how delayed I am.
Really?
I got to change it through my other input then here.
Oh my God, what an embarrassment. That's terrible as a Vikings backer. Oh my God, and an overbacker. Oh my God.
I told you.
No, I mean, listen, the Eagles aren't doing anything great at the moment anyway. But 9.5 points is way too many points. I mean, Dallas's offense. Here's something that people don't talk about because of the score was so bad. But there was a time in that game, at the beginning of it especially, the Giants were running the ball well on Dallas's defense. Dallas has a great defense, don't get me wrong. But if there is one vulnerability, it is their running rush defense. And Breece Hall looked great last week. And Delvin Cook even had some decent carries too. So, I haven't bet it yet because I'm waiting to see if we'll get a 10 because all the love is coming in on Dallas. But it is a correlated parlay. There's only the total of this is 38.5.
I just saw the fumble right now.
So you're telling me Dallas is going to win by like 10% or whatever the fucking total? I don't know. I'm going to bet the Jets. I'm sure. I'm just waiting to see if I get a 10. On to the next game.
Whoa, not so fast, my friend. As
I thought you hated this game.
I do hate this game, but you know what I did? I cheated. I couldn't wait to tease Philly and Dallas after watching that Monday night debacle. I laid heavy wood on that one. I had Dallas down to -0.5, and I had Philly as a pick'em in this game. No, who donkey is going to lay 9.5? I refuse to bet Zach Wilson on a short week in a hostile environment with a defense that pins their ears back. And we all know how good that Jet offensive line is. And that 39-year-old Dwayne Brown just had Aaron Rodgers get his lunch eaten for him. So I think this is going to be, and again, I'm right with the value, at least because it's a 9.5. I got it when it's 7.5. I teased it down to 0.5 point. No, sir. I will not back Zach Wilson. I will not back Zach Wilson eating green eggs and ham. Sam, I am.
Dude, I'm going to hit this Jonathan Swift over prop in the first quarter. He already has 24 yards rushing.
Oh, sweet.
Let's go. A modest proposal. Where we at now? Sorry. With Washington Commanders versus the Denver Broncos in Denver. Denver's favored by 3.5 points with a total of 39. I think Sam Howell versus the Denver crowd and that Denver altitude is a huge mismatch. Denver only getting 43% of tickets, but 80% of the cash. The Sharps love Denver. I love Denver. I've mentioned this before, the 0-1 versus the 1-0. Washington looks bad, even in their win. Denver had a good first half, but didn't seem to show up for the second half for whatever reason. But Sean Payton's a good coach. He's going to figure this out. Judy has been limited at practice, which is better than what he was last week. So he's trending in the right direction. Don't know if he'll play, but necessarily don't know if we're going to need him. Love Denver -3.5. Especially with all that money coming in on Denver, and the line is just sitting there. They're just begging you to take the hook in Washington after the win. So give me Denver.
Courtland Sutton I had in one of my leagues went for $1.15 and a touchdown. So if Judy doesn't go, I'm hoping he doesn't. He's an adequate replacement. That will also give you as a nice little sleeper play. I have nothing on this game. I didn't see the Denver game because I was at the Giants Stadium parking lot eating buffalo chicken wraps, which were delicious as all hell, and just quaffing many a beverage. I didn't see in a second of this game. I had the Raiders +4.5, and fantastic, that hit. I did see Washington, and god damn it, they look terrible. And I mean, why do I have to white knuckle them at home against the goddamn Cardinals? I'm sitting there going, here they fumble again. I go, what happened? I don't trust Washington. I don't trust Denver. That 3.5, I can't do 3.5. If it gets to 3, I could think about it. But I don't trust Denver yet. They haven't given me any reasons. I know it's hangover from last year still, and this game, from what I've read, nothing getting my dick hard. It's a pass me for right now.
Terrible interception by Jalen Hurts just now. Let's go Vikes. Now we're on to Sunday night. The Miami Dolphins are at the New England Patriots. Patriots are getting 3 points as a home dog with a total of 46.5. What do you have on this one?
Not a goddamn thing.
Yeah, I like the Patriots at a 3. I haven't touched it yet. This is my problem, is if there's one team since Tua took over, well, since McDaniel got there, that I just get wrong every fucking week, it's the Dolphins. Like, I watched the Dolphins play, and I kind of don't believe they're as good as they look sometimes, because there's stretches of their game where they look terrible. Tua looks so vulnerable to me that any hit, he's out of a game. But you got to give your hats. He threw 446 yards or whatever it was last week, 60, something like that.
Yep.
Great game by Tua, just throwing darts down the field. Granted, according to Lombardi, the Chargers, surprise, surprise, had the worst game plan you could possibly put in place when you're facing a Tyreek Hill team. So I don't expect the Patriots to make that same mistake. I kind of like the under in this one a little bit, but at this point, I'm going to kind of see how the weekend goes. It's a Sunday night game. At this point, I would lean the Patriots getting 3, but nothing too strongly at the moment. I'd lead the under 46.5 as well.
I wanted to tease just to be cute, but Belichick stinks in September, man. The numbers are there. He's terrible in September. And then the flip side of the coin, you have Miami just traveling 5,000 miles in a week. I want nothing to do with this game. I'm off.
Yeah, it's I get it. I totally get it. Monday night where they have 2 games. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this, NFL? 2 games? And before, when they had the doubleheaders, they had an early game and a late game. Now these games are staggered. You have a game starting at 7:15 and 8:15, I believe. Anyway, the first game is the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. Carolina are getting 3 points as a home divisional dog with a total of 40. I'd ordinarily give me a home divisional dog in prime time, and I'm just jizzing in my pants. But I can't take Carolina yet. If this team's going to be in any way at all competitive or fun to watch, it's going to be halfway through the season after Bryce Young kind of gets a feel for this, and Frank Reich hopefully figures out what the hell he's doing. But at this point in time, I can't do it, and I can't take New Orleans either. I liked what I saw from them in flashes last week, but very close game against Tennessee, and there were some opportunities with Tannehill throwing 3 interceptions for them to run away with it, and they just didn't. So I love Carolina, or I love the Saints on the season. Glad they're 1-0. They probably win this game to make it 2-0, but not touching it. On to the final game. You don't love what we got here.
I got numbers. I got numbers. I like the Saints are 4-1 out of their last 5 straight up. They are 3-8 against the spread in Carolina, but they are 9-4. 9-4 straight up. The last 13 in Carolina. Here again, let's go back to that rookie quarterback number. Weeks 1 through 3. Rookie quarterbacks 4-16 against the spread, 1-18-1 straight up. Carolina at home. No home field advantage, 11-21 against the number. And here's one for you. A retread head coach. What's a retread head coach? That's another way of saying that mentally developed slow. Just kidding. A retread head coach is someone who was at another team, took another role. And retread head coaches like Frank Reich, 1-10 weeks 1 through 10 since 2013, are 39.7% against the spread. So Frank Reich, not a good guy as a retread here. I think I may grab the 3 later. I don't know. Let me see how I do this weekend. I hear all those reasons, but what I saw from Bryce Young last week, I was not impressed. So I may grab them. We'll see. That's it.
I only have heard what you were saying because I was currently chewing on the vomit in my mouth from this terrible Vikings team. Their defense. They just fumbled. Imagine this. Yeah.
I saw it right now.
Like, what are they doing? Like 2 turnovers in the first quarter? They have 11 first quarter turnovers in 2 years. What are they doing?
I'll give you another. Wow, there's a lot of these guys I like. Jamal Williams. They're facing the number 1 worst rush defense in Carolina, and he's not costing you much either. He's only costing you $400. Now, break that down even a little more. He outsnapped, Kedre Miller was out anyway. He played 75% of the snaps. He played against the tough Titans defense. Atlanta just gashed them, the Panthers, for 131 rushing yards and 2 TDs, along with 9 catches for 46 and a score on 9 targets. I think Jamal Williams goes, give the ball to Jamal. Thank you.
There you go. Last game of the slate, the Cleveland Browns at my Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are somehow a 2.5-point home dog. Total of 39. Overreaction. This is an absurd line. There's no universe where Cleveland's favored by almost a field goal on the road in Pittsburgh, where they haven't won in since Obama was president. Even before, have they won there since they were a team?
George H.W. Bush, I think.
George H.W. Bush. Like, what is going on with this? The Tomlin underdog trends that we gave out last week apply in prime time. Divisional dog. Give me the Steelers getting the 2.5. Also tease them to 8 with the Houston Texans getting 7.5. I might even find another leg for the tease the Steelers with. This line makes no sense to me. Just none at all.
You're right. Pittsburgh against the Browns. Pittsburgh at home. Sorry, Pittsburgh in general against Cleveland. 6-2 of late. Cleveland's 4-12-1. Their last 17 straight up. They're 3-10, their last 13 on the road. Cleveland 1-19, their last 20 in Pittsburgh. Pitt 4-1 against the spread, their last 5. They are though 0-4-1 against the spread. Their last 5 games played in week 2, and they're 1-5 straight up. Their last 6 played in September. As you said, Tomlin is a home dog. 15-5-3 straight up as a home dog. 15-8. 15-8 to the under. So you may want to think about going under, but that total is so goddamn low this week. I also tease Pittsburgh to +8, and I also tease that with the Eagles to -1 in that teaser. And I'm debating if I'm going to fire in Dallas and Pittsburgh as another teaser separately, because I really think this is going to be the play. I think Cleveland was just beating up on Burrow, bad conditions, banged up Burrow. And they didn't have to do much. They just gave the ball to Nick Chubb, and he ran it down their throats. Pittsburgh had a lot of injuries, which is the only thing that scares me. Your linebacker, is it Cam Hayward is out, as well as Deontay Johnson is out. That gives me a little bit of pause.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, honestly, Hayward is on his way down and a decline. The first half of last season, he played terrible, and he started to come on the second half. So I feel like the loss on paper is a lot worse than it actually is. And the Steelers, they're good at wide receiver. They always are. They always deep. We have this guy, Calvin Austin, who no one's even heard of yet, who's going to be very good. It's losing Deontay sucks, but it's not anything that's not overcomable, in my opinion.
Right.
So that's all we got.
I'll give you a hot trash running back. I do not like Najee Harris. I had him last year. God, he started off slow. He's not.
As a Steelers fan, I don't like him either.
The Browns held Joe Mixon to 13 for 56 and 3 catches for 17. Why are you going to play right in the teeth? I mean, he also damn near split time. Jalen Warren had 25 snaps to Harris, who had 33. Why are you going to pay for the name? Do not touch Najee Harris. Totally. I think his goose is cooked in my book.
Look maybe to Pickens, he might get more targets. But going back to the running game is like another to add some context to this. The Browns' defensive front is very, very good. Granted, there are some injuries on it. Shelby Harris was weird. He missed practice with an Achilles. Doesn't that sound like a severe injury? I don't know. But a very good player. But the Browns front, the Steelers offensive line struggled against an elite front in San Francisco. The Browns have a claim to one of the better fronts in the league for sure. So that gives us even less of a chance on the run game for Harris. And also, he's supposed to be splitting carries with my boy Warren. So anyway, I think that's all the picks for this week. We can do a quick recap here. For me on the week, I have the Tennessee Titans +3, the Seattle Seahawks +5.5, Bengals -3, Kansas City Chiefs -2.5. Some of these you're not going to get, so just, whatever. Do your homework early in the year or in the week like I did. Steelers +2.5, Bills -8.5, Arizona +6, and Denver -3.5. I don't recall a time where I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 sides in a week, but I do. Here we are with our totals. I have Cincinnati and Baltimore under 46.5, and the Minnesota Vikings and Eagles over 48.5. Three teasers on the board: San Francisco, Dallas. San Francisco to 2, Dallas to 2.5. Houston and Pittsburgh. Houston to 7.5. The Steelers to 8. Dallas and Buffalo. Dallas to 2.5. Buffalo to 2.5. And props: DeAndre Swift over 32.5, and Dallas Goddard over 44.5, rushing and receiving yards, respectively.
I have the Bears +3, Giants first half parlayed with Philadelphia Eagles first half, Ravens under 46.5, Bills -2.5, teased with the Niners to -2 in 2 teasers. Philadelphia pick'em teased with Dallas -0.5, Pittsburgh +8, teased with the Eagles -1. Seattle, +5.5, Atlanta under 40.5, Jordan Addison over 42.5 receiving, DeAndre Swift, also known as Taylor Swift, over 15.5 receiving, Kansas City money line, New York Giants money line, Devontae Smith over 60+ yards, which he has 60 as of this moment. Parlay with TJ Hawkinson, 4.5 catches over. Those are the plays, and I think I'll grab Tennessee later on, but that's what I've got so far. That's Kevin Gootee, me, and that's Nick Whitmer, you. And hey,
you want to take that again? What's my name?
Yeah, I'm getting a little tongue-tied here. Jesus Christ. I'm Kevin Gootee, and that's Nick Whitmer, and we'll see you at the window for some free money.
Yes, but real quick, we got more. We are now on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
what? Yes. If you search at NFL Jibber Jabber, I couldn't get Fantasy Jibber Jabber for some God knows reason. But if you just YouTube search Fantasy Football Jibber Jabber, you should see us as well. Both of those names are in the account. But yeah, the full episode will be on YouTube every Friday morning. If you like to look at our beautiful faces, our German, Aryan, blonde hair, blue eyed faces. I mean, dude, how proud would Hitler be at this podcast? I mean, look at us, dude.
I'll tell you a very fast, funny story. I went to Munich for Oktoberfest a few years ago, and I get pulled over by TSA in Munich. I go, me, of all goddamn people.
Wow.
And with my buddy, I call him Gonzo, my buddy Nick Carnevale. He's got a big honker on his nose. His pants, well, we'll discuss that later. So TSA pulls us over and says, sir, you're being selected for a random security check. I go, okay. And your first question is, what are you doing here in Munich? And I say, I'm here for Oktoberfest. They go, okay. And who are you here with? I said, well, see that big nose guinea over there? That's my buddy. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, don't drink the brown dark beer. It'll give you a hangover. I go, well, Vita Zen. He's like, a Vita Zen. And that was my TSA being detained for about a minute and 15 in Munich.
I think that guy just wanted to meet you. He's like, look at this. Look at this Aryan specimen. I got to go.
America?
Like really? I'm doing my job.
I got to talk to him.
Yes, but for people with no sense of humor, we're kidding. I married a Jewish lady, so come on. Anyway, that is the show for this week. Follow us on Instagram, the show on Instagram, Facebook, now on YouTube, everything. Just show us love. 5-star reviews for podcasts. We'll get more listeners the more love you give us. But as Kevin said, we'll see you at the window, mother.
Yeah, buddy.